Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to World Online Racing. WOR, its finest, back on your screens, of course, here on Monday nights. It's a pleasure to have you all with us here for tonight's very special event. Obviously, we are here at Suzuka in Japan, and I'm not alone. Once again, back from illness. He's back, fit as a flea. It's Miles. Miles, how are you, mate?
I'm doing better, and also thanks for Luke for stepping in last week. He did a phenomenal job. But yeah, like you said, we're in Japan tonight, and I mean, we visited Great Britain, then we visited Belgium, Italy, and now we're in Japan. So I think everyone's heartbeat is going a bit faster when he's hearing those names.
Oh, definitely. I mean, come on. I mean, Suzuka, phenomenal circuit, and of course has been pretty much modelled the same way since 2003. Last winner, of course, Lewis Hamilton around this track, of course. 5.807 kilometers. That is 3.609 miles, and 18 turns, make up this phenomenal circuit, of course. Very high speed at the same time, very technical. The first sector, very treacherous indeed if you get it wrong. Lots of curbage, and indeed you've got to make sure that you put the car in the right places to optimize any chance of success, certainly in a race round here. And it's a big night tonight because the title is on the line, folks. Antoine, of course, who has been really lighting things up this season, took a phenomenal victory at the Temple of Speed at Monza, and of course, it was an absolutely tremendous occasion. Now, if the points go his way, if he gets 25 points here tonight, with Viper not scoring, and if CRG Lut does not score anything above 21, or of course Ron Hart doesn't score by 18 points, he will be crowned the Tier 1 champion for Season 10. So keep your eyes peeled, folks. It's going to be a phenomenal evening. Anything can happen, even though it's very unlikely. We've got lots of very, very class acts on the grid tonight. So lots, certainly, in the firing line. It's going to be absolutely extraordinary, folks. Of course, Suzuka, synonymous with Formula 1 racing, of course. In fact, my first experience of Formula 1 was watching Damon Hill win the World Championship back in 1996. And of course, the famous lump in my throat Murray Walker quote was actually broadcast at the Suzuka circuit, or the Japanese circuit of Suzuka. And I can remember it like it was yesterday. At the age of 4 years old, sat on the couch watching the British driver come home and take championship glory. And of course, folks, that's not the only news breaking here today. Of course, it's been going viral since this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Obviously, some of you may have heard it, the announcement that WOR is to go to PC next season. Extraordinary, folks. Absolutely extraordinary. The PC platform will be gracing WOR next season for the first time ever when the new game F1 2021 comes out. And we're very much looking forward to it, of course. It's already been very wildly respected and obviously applauded by many as well. The PC drivers up in arms, looking to try and get on board as well. It's truly a very exciting time to be at World Online Racing right now, and it's a pleasure. And I very much enjoyed my first season as well to commentate Xbox and PlayStation. Of course, I will be the commentator for the PC Championship next season, alongside a returning face, of course, Ginger Andy, who was, of course, my co-commentator, my fellow commentator, should I say, for Veloce Squad Sprint. And of course, if you remember earlier on in the season, the PlayStation 4 comms as well. And obviously, Miles, it's a very, very big testament and a bold testament to the work that WOR have put in, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just making the step onto the PC when they've just done the step to PS4 as well this season, we are also commentating. So you will be doing every single top tier on PS4, on Xbox, on PC, in WR, and I think just making that step for WR is very, very important, and I can't wait to see how they will do and who actually will sign up, because, I mean, there are still other leagues that are taking place, and, I mean, the grid will be packed. Not gonna lie, it still will be a very, very competitive grid. Let's hope we'll have the best drivers on the PC racing in WR next season. And yeah, I can't wait for that, to watch that. As yeah, of course, you're doing it with Ginger Andy, and yeah, I can't wait. What will happen there? And yeah, but we're loading in, and yeah, I also can't wait to see what will happen here today.
No, I think today is obviously where the brunt of the questions are going to be answered, and we're looking forward to seeing who, of course, comes out on top. Will Antoine take the, well, P1 glory? Can he take the championship? That is the ultimate question, folks, and we're only going to find that out after we've had this race here today. It's going to be absolutely thrilling, folks. Obviously, I do want you to bear witness to this. It's going to be absolutely extraordinary, and we cannot wait to bring you the coverage. Of course, we're going to be breaking into qualifying shortly. Incidentally, folks, I will not be commentating the PlayStation 4 next season. It will just be Xbox and, of course, PC, and we're looking forward to it. We're going to have a look at some of the chats as well. Please hammer the live chat, folks. Sloppy Cop has come in today. Hi, Miles and George. How are you doing today? We're doing very well. Thank you, Sloppy Cop. Miles is glad to be back. I'm glad to be back once again here on Monday night. It's going to be absolutely extraordinary, and I'm hoping that you're all looking forward to the racing content we're going to be bringing you today as well. It's going to be very, very certainly phenomenal, and we cannot wait to bring you all this exciting action, of course. And it's a nice, bright, sunny day here at Suzuka as well, and this is exactly what we want, I have to say, and just want to see everything out on track. Lots of battling, no wet weather conditions getting in the way between these drivers, and some very fast lap times, and certainly, despite there being a 15-man grid, still plenty of quality on this racetrack.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you spoke about Antoine, and Antoine can clinch the championship here today, and I am not really sure if he can really do that here today, because there's, like you said, so many fast drivers around here. Jonas is very strong here. I mean, Viper, even if he's not starting within the top 10, he's always one to actually look out for in the race, because he is very likely to go to the front, although he's starting on maybe even P15, because we only have 15 drivers here. Ronha, very quick recently, did phenomenal jobs last week, the week before, and yeah, can't wait for what all of the guys can do. Clone Troop is out first on track, but yeah, who are we following, George, for a rundown of, yeah, probably one of the most known tracks on the calendar?
Yeah, well, we're currently watching Days Rhombus out on the circuit. He's currently in the midst of Flying Rossi as well. There's pretty much every driver out on track, bar Bartek Frass. And of course, Flying Rossi himself. Joker is in fact the McLaren in front. But of course, there's lots on the table here today. Obviously, Antoine, who's looking to win, but he will need to outscore Viper. So Viper's going to need to be outside the points. Keaton Lutz, if he can go ahead or get the deficit up to 21 points ahead of Keaton Lutz, he can take the title, as well as Ronha by 18 points. So there's a lot of conditions that he needs to meet. And certainly, when you come down to a 15-man grid, it does make the prospects of that all the more challenging. But nevertheless, the opportunity is there. And naturally, if he can do it, obviously with another 3 races to go after this one, it certainly would be a huge coup for him and another feather in his cap, as we're now watching him cascade down the long straight. Of course, we will go further up the field, though, folks, because there's still plenty of other drivers out on the circuit. And, of course, VRT Critch, who's out on track as well. Viper currently in the pits, of course. He's right in the heart of this championship fight, as we're now watching them make their way up through the Sector 1 S's, now heading through Dunlop, and heading down towards the Degners now. And of course, Degner 1, Degner 2 coming up. And this Williams will be once again looking to try and strike an imposing figure here today. Of course, Williams have such a staunch history of glory, should we say, here in Japan. Of course, I did brush on the fact that Damon Hill is going a bit sideways there. Critch coming out of the hairpin bend. Now around 200R, heading up towards what will be Spoon Curve. And this is a very hellacious corner indeed. You want to rub the curve on the outset, should I say. Goes very steady, lovely, smoothly done by VRT Critch. Doesn't even break the white line on the left-hand side. He's looking very good indeed. Coming down 130R. And very shortly, he'll be making his way down towards the chicane, and indeed very, very treacherous again. You need to make sure you get your angles right into this one to be as quick as you can, optimize the speed heading through it. Looks good, and VRT Critch's Jonas lands on 125.613. Good start there from the Red Bull, as VRT Critch lands on 126.172, slots in behind Clone Troop, but obviously not the quickest time we're going to see just yet. But Jonas on top, Miles.
Yeah, Jonas on top, and his teammate also now coming into the final chicane as Ronha sets a 25.3, followed by Peroni with a 25.5. Let's see what the championship leader can do as he's just coming towards the line. Will it be a 25 low, 25.4 by Antoine, slotting into P2, and he needs those 25 points if he wants to clinch the title here today. And I mean, as it stands right now, that won't be the case because Ronha, like I said, he's on form at the moment, and he might be the man to beat here. To be quite honest, to all who are watching, like I said, he's on form. But I mean, Antoine, never rule out Antoine. He's championship leader for a reason, and so there's still room for improvement. I think that the top 4 are very, very close together. And I'm curious to see if anyone else can, step into that. As I think now Rossi came across the line with a 25.9, also not that far off. Bartek Fras will be the next one to cross the line. Now into the final chicane he goes. Let's see what he can do. He did a good job last week out. He was, I think, even leading the race at some point in Italy, if I'm not mistaken. Now coming towards the line, will it be 25? Yes, a 25.7. Good enough for P5. And those are some really solid bankers, George.
They are indeed. Looking very good on the first stint as we're now watching VRT Alfie now making his way around 130. Goes past Ronha, who lets him bite. And, of course, yellow flags. Don't be concerned by those, folks. That's the Ferrari slowing down as the Haas comes down into the next chicane. And indeed, just smoothly does it. Very nicely done indeed from Alfie. What can he post? A little bit of a rub on the inside. He bails into the pit lane. Obviously not happy with that lap set. But we do have VRT Danny. VRT out in force here today with, of course, 3 drivers who are now occupying the grid. As you can see, there's the clan codes there, VRT, as Danny comes into the chicane now. And he'll be powering out, hopefully, then to nail his first lap time here in qualifying. As they come through, no, he also chooses to box, so not happy with the initial lap set, as we're now seeing plenty of drivers still on track. Flying Rossi still out and about as well. And it's going to be extraordinary, folks. Obviously, we're only just over 11.5 minutes in. Still plenty of time. Nowhere near squeaky bum time just yet, but things are going to go off here at WOR. And naturally, it is certainly already tabled up to be a very exciting contest with the likes of Ronha on top spot and Antoine chasing. Lots to be excited about, Miles.
Definitely. Viper also started his lap, so did Joker. And curious to see once again, to see where Viper will go. He complained a bit in chat just before that there will be no rain in the race because he would have needed actually rain to go a bit further up the grid, but we know he's very fast in the race itself, so he can make up positions there. And yeah, but let's firstly see where he will fit into the top 10 here, because he will be the one. Yeah, completing a top 10, then we will have a top 10. Bobberts, I'm not quite sure if he set his best lap on the mediums. Yes, he did. 26.6 by Bobberts. So the second AlphaTauri is the one to beat for now to actually make it in front of a medium tire runner. Let's wait and see what Viper can do as he's now also heading into the final chicane. Let's see what he can do. And such an iconic view, to be quite honest, when you're entering, as he's now coming across the line. It's DRS wide open, 25.8. Good enough for P6 for the time being, and that was his banker. And there's still room for improvement for Viper, and curious to see what he can do. Joker also coming towards the line will be the next one, I think, to actually cross the line. And yeah, followed, I think, by one of the Mercedes guys that's just coming towards 130R. But Joker, 25.844, good enough for P6 once again. So yeah, beating Viper there for P6 for the time being. But yeah, I mean, there's still so much room to grow.
Yeah, definitely. And I've got to say, a fun fact about Viper, he's the only man to score points in every single round of this season at WOR in the Xbox League anyway, as Luca now makes his way down towards the next chicane. So don't count your chickens, folks. Viper can still be up there for a fight, and he's known to make some extraordinary comebacks, and has done on many an occasion this season. As we now watch Luca cross the line, P5 he goes, and clears the two above Viper as well, Bartek, Frass and Joker. who of course just pipped the AlphaTauri of Viper there as well. So very, very hotly contested grid, certainly in the midfield. But just look at the deficits there, Mars. Very slim indeed. No gaps really between Ronha and of course all the way down to Bobbett's in P13. Just over a second separates them from P1 to P13, almost requisite of an official F1 race, of course, from top to bottom. But excellent to see that we've still got, despite there only being 15 against 20, a very hotly contested field.
Yeah, for sure. And Bobberts also said his time on the medium, so he's now out on the soft. So I'm pretty sure he will be within that 1 second. As the track is quite busy right now. I don't think... Yeah, there's only one guy in the pits, and that is Viper, who just finished his run. We were watching him. As now Jonas will be coming towards 130R. There's a McLaren. I think that might be Joker, or is that Rossi, who will just come across the line. Might be Joker, so it might be Jonas being the next one to actually cross the line. And he was up by a bit, at least. Let's see if he continues on with that lap. Yes, he does. So he will improve 25.3 and 10,000 of a second better than what Ronha did, but Ronha has time to respond, and he's up by nearly by a bit more than 0.2 of a second. So will we see a 24 here today, George? That will be the question.
Yeah, well, Antoine's coming across the line now, and he does go quicker. Red Bull in the ascendancy. They give themselves wings and let fly. A 125, but he's pipped by Ronha, who immediately takes back P1. The flying Ferraris doing what Charles Leclerc did at Monaco in qualifying. We won't talk about the race, but the Ferrari on the top end. And once again, seeing the light of day in P1, a 125.059. And what a place to be. Halfway through qualifying, basically, folks. A 125.059, sorry. Getting closer and closer to the 124s. Ronha is going to be delighted.
And he actually made a mistake coming into the final chicane. So there's still time to find for Ronha. And I'm pretty sure we will see a 24 if he can improve on his next run and, yeah, just get that entry into the final chicane right. And VRT Danny now setting a lap time, good enough for P8. VRT Alfie into P5, so very impressive from him as well. As I think also Rossi just dipped into the 25.6s to be in P6 for the time being. So lots of improvements coming in. I mean, like we say, week in, week out, it's good to have a banker in just to have something to improve on. But the guys are smashing it. I mean, Jonas improved by 3/10. Antoine, I think, improved by 3/10, and Ronha also improved by 3/10. So there's still room to even get better. So the times will be tumbling down come the end of the session. But yeah, very interesting and very exciting qualifying session we've seen so far here. And yeah, Viper's out on an outlap and will just start his lap right now. Let's see if he can improve.
Yeah, and Critch crosses the line to P6 to put Williams up into Ps4 and 6. Looking good there for the British constructor, of course. And once again, showing some superior form here at Japan. But it's not enough yet to topple Red Bull, who are currently occupying Ps2 and 3. And obviously the lead in the championship as well. They've had a great season with Antoine and Jonas. Of course, Antoine taking 4 wins this season, the most wins out of everybody out on track, as Flying Rossi now makes his way down the 130R. And I have to say, it's been a phenomenal season. And it's amazing to see as well, Viper into P2, despite him not winning this season, has been, like I said before, the most competitive in terms of, or should I say, the most, well, certainly the most consistent. You know, obtaining points. He's only scored one solitary podium, and that was at Bahrain, as Flying Rossi comes into the pit lane. Bartek Fras now coming around 130R now as well for Renault. And now down towards the final chicane. And indeed, Bartek Fras could do with a little bit of raising the plaudits, but I don't think he's going to score big this time. It's going to be definitely a trip to the pit lane for the Renault. As we look further down as well, Days Rhombus coming across the line. P13 is all he could amount to, but he's staying out on track. Viper back in the session. But plenty to be excited about now as all the drivers bail into the pit lane. We're going to have one more run, I am sure, before the end of this qualifying session. And that is where things get serious, folks. So the track will be at optimal temperature. The tyres will be nice and sticky. And they'll be finding a lot more delta, you would think, now on this circuit, as we now watch Critch now make his way into the pit lane as well. All the drivers starting to make their way through. Days Rhombus, you'd count on coming to join them very shortly as he makes his way up towards the hairpin bend. But Miles, just to overview this season, it has been absolutely extraordinary. Of course, we've seen some very consistent form, like I said, with the likes of Viper. Antoine's been up there scoring regular points. There was only one race he didn't score points at, and that was at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix, where things did not go to plan for him. But looking across it, we've seen some fascinating battles and, some interesting finishes as well. Some interesting podium finishes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there are so many drivers that won a race this season, and I'm just waiting for another one. To be quite honest, I know Jonas is quite handy around here, and also Peroni is not that far off, so I wouldn't mind having someone else winning a race this season. And I mean, Antoine won one, Lat, Ronha, of course, and JKB as well. He also won a race in the Netherlands. So 4 drivers that won a race, but we have still 4 rounds to go. So I wouldn't mind having someone else winning a race here today, or in the next couple of races at least. Because, I mean, that's just underlining how close this grid is and how close everyone is. I don't know what happened to Ronha there. For a split second, it showed that he's on his outlap. Now he's into the pits once again. I don't know if there was a glitch going on or what else was going on there, but let's hope we didn't lose him there. That would be not very good, to be quite honest. And yeah, like you said, drivers on the podium. I mean, Viper, like you said, he's very consistent throughout this whole season. And I mean, him just getting a win, I think would make things so much easier for him to actually secure P2 in the championship. I wouldn't mind, to be quite honest. Like I said before with Jonas, for example. But yeah, I guess we have to wait and see. They have to do that in quali. Have to be at best on the front row of the grid to actually have a chance of winning this race. Strategy-wise, we will have softs to mediums most likely by most of those guys. Maybe someone will go for softs to hards. So you want to be starting, yeah, as far at the top as you can.
Yeah, you certainly do. As we now watch Clone Troop, we're riding on board with him, heading up through the Degners, and maybe coasting a little bit there. I don't think he's quite happy with the way his lap was brought about, and he is slowing down. So whether he's going to try and conserve the ERS for one final run. We are in the final 2 minutes, folks, so he's got to do it now. And obviously we'll have to cross the line for one final lap. Obviously those tyres will be very sticky, to say the least. The track is very busy now. Only one driver left in the pit lane, and that's Dazed Rhombus. As now we can watch all of them cascade their way, including this man, Ronha, our current P1 sitter, with just over a minute and a half remaining, folks. Squeaky bum time here at the WOR Japanese Grand Prix as we come towards the tail end of the season. This will be the 4th last race on our calendar. Obviously, following up this, we then head to the Red Bull Ring at Austria, and after that, we head to Abu Dhabi and the grand finale at the Brazilian Grand Prix as well. And a very sensational list of tracks, that is to say the least. I've got to say, Austria, one of the shortest on the calendar as well, but nevertheless just as exciting, fast-paced, rapid, lots of overtaking opportunities. And Abu Dhabi is known to obviously spring a few surprises, a few corks in the bottle that can soon pop off. And also, don't forget, Brazil, of course, requisite to that incredible championship battle where Hamilton and Massa took it right to the line, and that famous "is that Glock" moment occurred as we're now watching Ronha just slowing down and letting the drivers through. There's Antoine, of course, looking to land a challenge to the top spot as well. He's on a flying lap and makes his way up in the Red Bull, looking to once again sprout wings here in WOR and land another 25 points upon his tally. And he'll have every chance of doing just that as he makes his way now around the next right-hander. This, of course, the 200R. And he'll be making his way around Spoon Curve. Very important to get this one right, to be right on board now with the Frenchman, who has been absolutely scintillating this season and by every right and reckoning deserves to be on top spot, given all the fights that he's given, and certainly been the more consistent contender. Certainly where it comes to podiums, has not finished in a 3rd place this season. It's either win, 2nd, or bust for this man. He's been getting points, of course, outside the top 3, but no 3rd place. Makes his way out to the chicane now, heading round the final bend, and will be crossing the line now to land his time as they come across the line, and not enough. He will not go ahead of Ronha. Now that could be crucial, Miles.
It can be, yeah, and I'm just watching everyone crossing the line. Jonas was very, very late to start a lap. So was Ronha. I think Ronha just behind him, and there's a bit of lag involved for Ronha. Let's hope we don't lose him. I don't know if you saw that too, but yeah, Antoine, very, very good lap there, but couldn't just really improve on the time he did. Ronha, there's no real pressure for him at the moment. I mean, Jonas is still on track and is still very, very fast, just missing the apex there, going into Spoon, and now will he get a little bit of slipstream? Yeah, not really, as Danny's just moving out of the way for Jonas, and will be, yeah, one of the next ones to cross the line. Critch will be actually first to cross the line. Let's see what he can do, as he's just losing a back end. They're coming down towards the line, only P6 for him. Let's see what Jonas can do. 55,000 of a second up on his time. That might be good enough for his teammate. Running out of eras, coming across the line, 25.225. Good enough for P2, and Ronha, he improved.
He did,
but
Ronha did improve. A 125.059, only a brief amount though. That was his last, I suppose, consolidated lap time. He nails top spot. I suppose the big upset, Antoine not able to improve on his final run. Albeit, though, Red Bull looking absolutely brilliant. In a great position right now with Jonas and Antoine. And we've seen it so consistently all season long, where they have worked together to fight their way up to the top order. And this is your final classification, folks. Ronha on P1 for Ferrari. And just look at this, the consolidation of the Red Bull team. Jonas on the front row with Antoine in behind there in P3. Perondi for Williams up into P4. Luca P5 for Mercedes-AMG Petronas. Critch in P6. Bartek Frass in P7. Alfie 8. Viper 9th. Bobbitt's in 10th. Flying Rossi 11th. Danny 12th. Joker 13th. Rhombus 14th. With Clone Troop in 15th place, folks. But what a story in qualifying. The Red Bulls couldn't quite get P1 on the day, but they have got Jonas on the front row. And Antoine, don't count him out. Ever dangerous in third place.
Definitely, and actually, just quickly throwing that in, there was a slight corner cut by Ronha. He did a 24.8, so there was still room for improvement for him. He invalidated, unfortunately, but he still got pole position, and it got darker by the second. Now we have sunshine once again. It's a bit cloudy, but best conditions to start the race here in Japan, and I can't wait to see what the drivers will do, and if there will be an attack right from the get-go. And of course, Prost and Senna come to mind.
Absolutely. No, not a cloud in the sky in terms of dark clouds, folks. It's very nice and bright here at Suzuka. Looking very nice indeed. The track nice and dry. Perfect for real strong racing, folks. We want to hear from you. Who do you think is going to take P1 here today at the Japanese Grand Prix? Who's going to try? Will Antoine take victory and win the championship? That is the big question. Of course, title on the line here tonight, folks. Blink and you will miss it. Trust me, it's going to be a staunch fight, a staunch battle towards the end at this hellacious track. And obviously, we're looking forward to it. And obviously, we want to hear from you. Who do you think is going to win it? And I can see there, Master King. He's going Antoine for the victory here tonight at Suzuka. And that's his man to pick. And I've got to say, it's going to be really, really interesting. Night Dog saying Alessio Di Capua won the Season 9 Tier 1 in Japan. He certainly did, of course, known as Kowalski back then, of course. Many people know him as Kowalski, a very, very talented driver. And, of course, the fast Italian, we've seen him compete with the very best in professional esports as well. No doubt you might see him as well in the PC Championship when it comes round next season. Very thrilling things happening here at WOR, and we're looking forward to bringing it. The drivers are now making their way around now, folks, on the formation lap. And we will bring you live coverage here from Japan. But I want to hear from you now, Miles. What are your tips heading into this race? Any further thoughts? Is there a driver that's really caught your eye that you think is going to be taking P1 glory here tonight?
Will be a tough race. I mean, 27 laps around this track. Just looking after your tires a bit. As who was that at the front? There was someone completely checking out. That's Jonas just going full send there. I don't know what he's doing, but my money's on him. I think I said that when we came to Belgium the last time, and I hope I don't jinx him here once again, because he had not the best race, let's put it that way, and put it a bit more nicely in Belgium. But here today, I think he can get those 25 points that Antoine would need, but I think Jonas will be the one taking that here today. So My money is on Jonas. How about you, George?
Well, me, I have to say I've been very impressed with Antoine this season. He's got a never say die attitude. And I have to say I think that's pretty much mirrored in the live chat as well. Carl saying, yes, Antoine will win. And a nice little message here from Starfallen. I don't care who wins, as long as George nails comms, which is never in doubt, with a love heart as well. That's very kind of you, Starfallen. We do appreciate everyone watching here at WOR. And it's a pleasure, and I'm glad you're all having a great time in your own homes or wherever you're watching around the world. It's a pleasure to have you all with us here on WOR. And I've got to say, the action just keeps on coming, folks, and we want to keep it that way. You know, that's what it's all about. Jack Vaughan is going for Ron Hart as well. He fancies the Ferrari to tickle the top end. And looking further down, we got Alex as well. We got some comments about Alex. Ron Hart all the way. He's the GOAT, says Jack Vaughan. So there you go, big comments in the live chat. Keep them coming, folks, as we're now about to form up on the grid. Things are about to get really saucy. Let's start stirring the pot, folks. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. Starfallen is going for a Bobbitt's win. And Jote Carico, my money goes to Ronha. So another one for Ronha in the chat as the drivers line up for the start of this Grand Prix. It's going to be absolutely scintillating, folks. Bear with us. You're going to be in for a hellacious ride here at Suzuka. It's going to be a corker. The lights are about to go red, as we now see the Racing Point of Clone Troop just weighing up in the back. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. Like and subscribe here, folks. Listen to Carl. Don't forget to like the stream. Here we go, folks. First light, second light, third light, fourth light, the fifth light. And it's pedal to the metal. Go, 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 go. Ronha with a beautiful getaway goes clear. Jonas just not quite close enough. He covers off the dive bomb route, but does not manage to overtake. Does Antoine on his teammate Jonas. They're in tandem. Critch moves up to P5. Viper, a tremendous P6, but a safety car. A safety car from the get-go. The Mercedes-AMG Patronus. Luca is out of the race. Drama at the start mile. Sensational.
I was just looking down the grid, and there was, I think, a Mercedes spinning out, and I'm pretty sure that was Luca. I don't know if there was any contact with him. I was just watching Clone Troop, and I just couldn't see the action on or the accident unfold. I didn't really see it, but there was Luca just going, vertically on the track, and I think he just got hit. I don't know about who it was. Maybe I will quickly have a look into the race director, and there was an incident with VRT Alfie, heavy collision with Shizu Luca. So I don't know what happened there, if Luca just went a bit wide, but yeah, not really good, not the best start, but now we have a safety car, and there could be some guys going into the pits now, George, and going onto the hard tires.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a few damaged wings out on the track. Bartek Frass limping along at the back. So is VRT Danny. I think that's the only set of casualties. Of course, turn one here at Suzuka is a progressive bend, and I think that is also Bobbitt's with a damaged front wing as well. There's quite a few end plates littered across this circuit, and naturally not a great place to be. Certainly a high downforce track here at Japan, certainly through the likes of Spoon Curve and Hairpin as well, and not to mention the first sector where the car does get thrown around. And yes, a penalty as well. A pitting, it does Ronha. You are absolutely right. He does go into the pits. I thought you said penalty. Do apologise, folks. Alfie with a penalty, nevertheless. And already we're seeing a cluster of cars boxing early on. Interesting, though. Ronha going for that long strategy. That is absolutely... That's really interesting. I did not expect him to box that early, but he certainly thinks the hards will go to the end.
Yeah, Jonas did as well. So both of the guys that were starting on the front row now on the hard tires. I think Antoine also wanted to go into the pits, but couldn't because his teammate also went into the pits. There might have been enough room for him to actually also go into the pits when I just look at the gap, which is bugged out, by the way. So Jonas isn't in P2. He isn't in P1 right now. He's behind Ronha, and Ronha is currently sitting P11, and we will have the fixed one right now. So Jonas is in P11. Joker is also not at the front, so yeah, we'll just wait until everyone just crossed the line on the first sector. But yeah, there are two guys on the hard tires that started on the front row. Joker actually went onto the soft tires, which is interesting to see. And then we have Days Rhombus, VRT Danny, and Bartek Fras, who are also on the hard tires, so they want to try to go to the end, and it will be very, very tough to actually go towards the end without having a puncture. I remember an SRC race not that long ago where there was a safety car on lap 3. And everyone went into the pits and they had a puncture on the final lap. So they really have to look after the tires if they want to make it to the end. But I mean, just taking the risk. Why not?
Well, I mean, last gasp dramatic. Certainly, if you have the same thing again and everyone drops into the pit lane for the final couple of laps, it certainly will turn the screw on this race. But leading the way is Antoine, and he does find his way at the front. And those soft tyres now will be conserved slightly, so this safety car might aid those. Certainly on the softer tyres, so don't turn you away from this, folks. We've got 3 different compounds out on the track right now. Flying Rossi and Clone Troop, the only drivers on the mediums. Now, how's that going to fare during the race? Obviously, they can go a bit longer as well. We'll have to wait and see how they get on with that. Of course, Ron Har in behind, still a very formidable driver. Despite being on hards, he could still potentially dispatch those on the mediums. We'll have to wait and see, of course, though. Obviously, it's going to be a very severe test of strength as they make their way around the first sector. There, of course, is Antoine just sticking behind the Mercedes safety car in behind as well. Perondi, Williams in a very good position right now. Perondi and Critch making up the top 3 spots alongside Antoine. Viper as well in the midst, who's managed to gain some nice headway in the midst of the safety car, along with his teammate Bobbitt, who unfortunately had to box. I believe for a front wing change. No, in fact, he stayed out with the damaged front wing. So I'm not sure. It did look like he had a damaged front wing. He did box, didn't he? I thought, Miles.
Who boxed? I was just looking.
Yeah, I was looking at the AlphaTauri and I could have sworn I saw a missing end plate. It might have been a glitch on my screen, but Bobbitt's now looking okay. He has adopted those soft tyres now for 2 laps, so that must be his original set. So, yeah, maybe he didn't. My mistake, folks. Bobbitt's is okay, making his way up towards the hairpin bend. And he's looking okay, I have to say. Must have been a little glitch. It looked like the end plate was missing heading down 130R, but it's looking all good as they come out of the hairpin bend. In behind, you've got VRT Alfie, who's on a penalty. And as well behind him, Flying Rossi, Clone Troop, Ronha as well has a penalty as well. Jonas in behind, who's obviously boxed onto the hards, going for that ulterior strategy that we've of course seen now, and a few of them have adopted. In fact, near enough half it's pretty much a good even split across the grid if you put the 2 medium drivers right in between, equal numbers on softs to hards, and it's going to be interesting to see which one pays off. Naturally, the hards go into the end. It is going to be a real test of stamina, and they're really going to have to try and conserve those tyres at the same time of riding them towards the end, of course, as they're now making their way around the 130R once again. But yeah, very interesting indeed. And obviously, we're just waiting the safety car to obviously come in this lap. And as you can now see, it is coming in. Antoine now preparing the grid for a getaway. And we'll go pedal to the metal for the 2nd time in this race here at Japan. Here comes the Red Bull now. Antoine through the final chicane. Heading round the final bend. In cahoots now are the 2 Williams cars. Pedal to the metal. And it's go, 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 go for the 2nd time. And Antoine, what a getaway. Absolutely flew out the blocks. In behind now, Perondi at the mercy of his teammate Critch, who's looking on the outside. Perondi holding on to that P2 spot now. Manages to glance at Antoine there in P1 as well. They're in tandem heading up through Sector 1. Wheel to wheel. Battling nose to tail in between the 2 Williamses. No team orders, I'm sure, between these 2. Both of them want to win here today. Alfie in the midst as well, trying to chase down on Bobbitt. There's a view there from Flying Rossi as they rise up now towards the Dunlop curve. Tandem, nose to wing, phenomenal stuff. Let's hope it stays like this, Miles.
Let's hope it stays like this. It was very close between Critch and Perondi there, because I think that Critch just knew basically when Antoine was going to go for the restart, and I think Perondi was just a bit caught napping there. And Critch wanted to take advantage of that, couldn't. But yeah, I mean, that definitely helped Antoine just to get a bit of a breather at the front. So very good start there restart from Antoine. Just getting his nose out of any contention into turn 1, which is probably the most, the best overtaking opportunity on the circuit. There was no position changes further down the grid. I was just looking at that. So there were no position changes for the time being. Because, I mean, the likes of Ronha being down the grid, it's very, very close. We have one huge DRS train once the DRS will be enabled. So Antoine now setting the fastest lap, 29.1. We will have a faster lap when the drivers come around next. Jonas is very close to the back of Ronha, but I think Jonas is quite happy where he is right now, just behind Ronha, because Ronha has that 5-second penalty to his name. So he doesn't necessarily have to overtake.
Yeah, and he can make use of the toe as well, Miles, obviously, and stay in behind with, obviously, saving the ERS as well, just utilising DRS when it becomes active, and it'll work perfectly heading through this race. Naturally, they're going on the longer strategy. They want to go to the end. He does not need to push the tyres. He needs to try and keep conserving the compound, and like you say, no requirement to overtake Ronha, especially given the fact he's got a penalty. You can leave it till later on where things start to get a little bit tense, but the delta gaps are currently in fine order at the moment, equal across the board, though Perondi is now starting to stretch out a little bit of a gap on his teammate Critch, but Perondi as well losing Antoine. Antoine absolutely flying right now, has already managed to plunge another 3/10 on the board on Perondi, so that Red Bull very keen to get away from this top 10, well, certainly the top 5 battle. And this is how Antoine does it. He likes to check out from the get-go, break DRS, and try and cruise through. And that is the way forward as we're now watching Jonas come down the stretch. Remember, he got quite close to Ronha the last time we went around 130R as they make their way down towards the next chicane, that being Casio Triangle. And there you can see them all in tandem, making their way through. Looking absolutely dynamic here at Suzuka. Now heading on the outset, down the long stretch. Panic on the right-hand side. The crowd's littered here in Japan as they're now making their way down towards turn 1, and absolutely brilliant. I have to say, the colours all ablaze there as they round this first corner and heading up through the snake section now. Just look at them, all in tandem, wheel to wheel, nose to tail. All it takes is one mistake, and you've got to brace yourselves, folks. Do not go away. Blink and you'll miss it. I have to say, lots of overtaking, I think, will be coming later in this race.
We just got DRS enabled for the first time in this race on lap 6, just because we had that safety car. Perondi is really pushing to stay with Antoine, but Antoine knows that he has to get away, but Perondi, on the other hand, also knows that he has to stay with Antoine, going very deep into the hairpin there and losing touched a bit, but a better exit for Perondi. Just sees him within that 1 second. Critch is not that far behind. Like I said, one huge train we have here right now, and Antoine's trying to break that. Isn't really able to do so, so there might be room for Perondi to actually stay with Antoine. I mean, we only have one DRS straight on the circuit, which I mean, certainly helps Antoine because trying to get away through the assist, especially with a bit of dirty air kicking in. With, I mean, you just have to be very, very careful if you're just behind someone through the S section. And let's just wait and see. Perondi still has DRS, but he has no ERS left to play with, and I mean, that just shows how good the pace of Antoine is. Perondi just had to use so much of his battery just to stay with Antoine, but yeah, that was a bit of a lost fight. He's now outside of the 1 second, might get back within, but I mean, Antoine is just getting away in the S's.
Yeah, and as they rise up now out of the snake section, heading around Dunlop Curve, there you can see the AlphaTauri as well, a Viper, and we spoke about how consistent that man is. He is absolutely incredible, and has yet to be outside the points this season. An incredible series of rounds that he's managed to certainly notch point after point on the board. 8 races amassed in total, and every single one has been a points finish for Viper, the only driver to do just that this season, and that's a big credit to his standard of driving, of course. Keeps it on the track, does not mess around, has scored 1 podium this season, as we discussed earlier on at Bahrain, and as he rounds now the 200R, he'll be looking to put another notch in his cap, looking to obviously get as much as he can, wants to maximise his ability here today. Naturally doesn't want Antoine to win the title, and therefore will need to stay in, obviously the 25 points is what is required. He won't see anything less, and naturally he wouldn't count out the AlphaTauri, that's for sure. He's still on the tail of Critch right now, and still we're maintaining similar DRS gaps, or should I say delta gaps. Perondi, though, in a lot of trouble because Antoine has managed to break away. He is now 1.6 seconds. The Frenchman is absolutely flying. And look at this now. Perondi is pretty much in the midst of a little bit of a blow here because his teammate Critch is getting closer and closer all the time, utilising the DRS, and just look how much delta he's gained. A lock-up from Perondi and very nearly giving way to his teammate, and it looks like that Williams in P2 might be struggling, Miles. Critch is starting to find all sorts of delta upon his teammate there.
Also sees Antoine getting away, and for now, I would say Critch is the faster driver of the two Williams, as he's just lost the back end there. Oh, good catch there by Critch, but now he has to look behind a bit, because like you said, Viper is coming as well. But yeah, like I said, I think Critch at the moment is the faster guy of the two Williams guys. It might be the one that has to go for Antoine, but on the other hand, there might be a slight chance that we will see one of the guys actually into the pits, maybe fitting the hard tires to go to the end. I mean, most of those guys will just opt for, going for the softs to mediums, as we had a safety car, and they just could conserve the tires. So, curious to see what the drivers will do. Critch is a bit too far away coming out of Spoon. He sees the light coming on at the back of his teammate, but he's too far away to actually challenge him into turn 1. Might be able to do so though, as he has a lot more areas to play with.
Yeah, and just a little note for you here, Miles. Carl, second commentator, sounds like Nico Rosberg. So credit to you there, my friend, as they make their way around the final corner and down the long stretch now. VRC Critch still holding on for the time being into P3. Just look at Viper, though, probing, almost looking, waiting to strike as they now round the first corner. And once again, Perondi with a lockup. He is really struggling with those tyres now. 8 laps amassed on the softs, albeit, though, they spent 2 of them behind the safety car. So you wouldn't have expected the WOR to be that dramatic, but they're coming through this certainly this first sector, rising up through the snake section, and Perondi really starting to lose it. Oh my word, Critch making another mistake at the same place where he very, very nearly lost the car in the previous lap. Viper can see all this happening. He can see that he's struggling with the car now, and he's probably licking his lips. The Viper waiting to strike. Fangs bore here, and every chance here for the AlphaTauri to let loose here on the Williams. VRT Critch and Perondi certainly struggling here at Suzuka as they're now rising up now through 200R. Very soon to take the Spoon curve. It certainly looks academic here, Miles. Chances on the table here. Could the Viper set out and strike?
I wouldn't rule that out. I mean, if there's just a tiny mistake, and we saw 2 mistakes on this lap and the last lap of Critch coming up, towards Dunlop curve. So there might be a chance for Viper
moving
to actually pounce.
Moving the offing. Here comes Alfie. We got Bobbets. The AlphaTauri now. It's looking like he's going to try and break the trend as Alfie, wheel to wheel, out of the chicane now, coming down through the final corner. And certainly, it's been absolutely tremendous how they've kept this on the circuit as they come down now towards the first corner yet again. Opportunity and abundance for the American-owned Haas team. As now you see Alfie, aerodynamic, switch back. Brilliant, but he can't make it come off. But an excellent bit of driving. Superb style as Perondi goes in to box to those mediums. He was struggling on the compound, but Alfie doing his utmost, trying to improve his situation, did his absolute utmost to challenge Bobbets, and what an exchange. Heading out of the chicane down the stretch, he tried to get the switch back, heading around the first corner, very nearly lost the car, but clinched it, kept it on the track. Excellent stuff indeed, and that's what we want to see here at Suzuka.
Definitely, and Alfie, I think he just did what he wanted to do, just break the slipstream and the DRS from Bobbets to his teammate. Just look at the gap, 1.3, make that 1.5, maybe 1.6 as they come through 200R. And I think that's what Alfie wanted to do, just break the DRS so he has a bit more space to overtake, and it will be a bit easier to overtake, as I think if one of the AlphaTauris is coming in at the end of this lap and just prevent the undercut that
he's going to have his chance, Miles. He's going to have his chance. He's going to have his chance around 130R. Wheel to wheel, nose to tail as they come now down towards the chicane. And Alfie's making no mistake. He's going to take the outside. Absolutely sensational. Almost a carbon copy of the previous lap, but once again denied. And they both box in the pit lane. Bobbets there giving him a headache as they now come down the stretch once again. And now more wheel to wheel action as oh my word, Clone Troop there. With certainly some contact headed down the straight, heading into the first corner. The Ferrari had to hang on to it, did exceptionally well not to sustain any damage or lose the car. The Ferrari's still on track, but that was a really nervous moment. Very nearly lost it at the hands of Clone Troop.
Yeah, will it be close between the two Williams? Yes, it will be, but Perondi still out at the front. There's a gap of 1.8 seconds to Antoine, so Antoine kept the gap he had, basically, to Perondi. I think Perondi with the undercut just came a bit closer, and now has to do a lot of work to actually get back within that 1 second of Antoine. And if we just compare the pace he had in the first stint, it might be better to actually let Critch have a go on Antoine. Just look at the gap between Antoine and Jonas. it's around 14, 15 seconds. So Antoine, I mean, he was behind Jonas when the pits, or when Jonas and Ronhard came into the pits to fit a set of hard tires. But they really have to watch their tires and have to be really careful, have to be conserving their tires until the end of the race when they want to make it. Viper, I'm pretty sure, will also come into the pits at the end of this lap. That will allow Rossi to actually go to the front of this train we have here forming. And yes, Viper is in. Rossi is going, I'm pretty sure he will go into the soft tires on his second stint. But Clone Troop not really pushing the overtake. Maybe he's also very happy where he is right now.
Yeah, I think he is, and certainly track position is what he favours right now, but like Ronhard is going to be very dangerous as those medium tyres have now been on the car for 11 laps. You get to think that the changeover will happen, the hards will start to be a lot more effective at this circuit of Suzuka. And there you can see Antoine, who's currently leading the batch of new tyres that are out on track, of course. P9 he currently lies, but don't forget the likes of Ronhard, Jonas, Rhombus, Danny, Frass, Joker, all of them going to the end here, folks. So they have effectively completed their strategy as they come up now towards the next hairpin bend. Ronhard looking to get closer to Clone Troop, and naturally Flying Rossi doing Ronhard exceptional favours here, holding back. Certainly Clone Troop opening the door here for the Ferrari of Ronhard as they come up now through 200R. In behind as well, Jonas, who's all over them as well. Still plenty of options here on the track. I have to say, folks, I can't call the winner for you just yet. It's certainly going to be a huge question, though. Antoine, you'd think, on the new medium tyres is going to be all kinds of pace and will go to the end on that medium compounded tyre. But he does need to get moving. He's got 10 seconds to find on Joker as they come round the 130R yet again. Flying Rossi leads. Clone Troop in behind. Ronhard trying to close the gap. He's only 7/10 behind as they come now through the chicane. Can Clone Troop land a blow? Because he's only 4/10 behind Flying Rossi. DRS opens up now as they make their way down the stretch now past the paddock and down towards turn 1. Still no movements there at the front. Still being held by Flying Rossi. He's leading the race superbly, but I get a feeling he might have strategized himself out of this Grand Prix.
Yeah, might be the case, but although he will be flying, at least on the first few laps, he will be on the soft tires.
Here comes
I mean, the soft tires.
Critch now, he's gone past Perondi. Team orders at Williams, heading down towards turn 1, and you have to say that's probably the right decision based on what we've seen already, of course. Critch certainly has looked like the faster driver for Williams, and that will open them up some more doors. They want to try and close the gap on Antoine, who did break clear by 2 seconds in the initial phase of laps, obviously prior to the pit stops, but interesting call by the Williams team. They've gone for it, Miles. Perondi giving way to Critch.
I think that's the better option. I mean, I was talking about that, and Perondi actually 6/10 faster in the first sector alone on this lap, and that just shows that he might have the pace to actually close the gap to Antoine. I mean, Antoine, he can push now on those medium tires. He will be comfortably going to the end of the race. But there's a big but. Yeah, I mean, all of the guys in front of him, apart from Rossi and Clone Troop, they won't pit again. I'm pretty sure, or maybe they will pit when there's a safety car. We don't know that yet. But if they're staying within 1 second of each other, and that's what it looks like right now, with Joker being just outside of 1 second, and now he's inside.
Here comes Clone Troop.
It will be tough.
Clone Troop go, oh my word, oh, he very nearly lost the car. Heading into turn 1, Flying Rossi shut the door. Ronhard goes through into P2 now, and that was a severely close moment. Flying Rossi shutting the door, heading around turn 1, and that very nearly became a calamity there for Clone Troop, and naturally that's forced him wide, heading into turn 1. Ronhard, obviously seeing it all unfold, managed to slip it down the inside, take that P2 for the Ferrari team, and naturally that leaves the racing point down in P3 now. Flying Rossi now still leads this Japanese Grand Prix, subject to pit stops, of course. Ronhard in P2, just in behind, obviously going the full length now on the hard tyres, but naturally Flying Rossi now looking a little bit ginger on those 13-lap-old mediums, and you have to think that Ronhard will have the opportunity here, Miles, but I have to say at a very close moment heading into turn 1.
Yeah, very close moment there between those two, and I think Clone Troop at the moment is the faster driver than compared with Ronhard. Jonas is not finding a way through. He knows he has to find a way through, but for the time being, I think there is none. Let's just have a look at the ERS Clone Troop has, and yeah, I think Jonas knows that he has to get through now, and because I think also Ronha will go in front of Rossi here, coming down into turn 1. Rossi is going defensive. Jonas is pushing his ERS, and there is a light coming on at the back of the racing point, and it's very close at the front between Ronha and Rossi, and Jonas going around the outside there. Very close between Clone Trooper and him, but I think Jonas will now come out on top as they're still going side by side. And I mean, essentially they're not in the same race at the moment, and I mean Clone Trooper is doing Ronha a big favor there, just blocking off Jonas there. And I think if Jonas just pushes ERS a bit more coming towards turn 2, turn 3, he could have had him.
Yeah, he could have done, got very close, but what does matter is that Ronha is now in front, and he's already nearly a second clear of Rossi, as now we see Jonas having a look down the outside, looking to take the long way around, heading out to the hairpin, and looking behind as well. Days Rhombus being brought right into this race. It's absolutely incredible, folks. I hope you're all enjoying it at home, as Jonas taking the outside line out of 200R. Brilliant! Absolutely brilliant! Sensational into spoon curve. He certainly did stir the spoon. He sent it. Jonas on a flyer for Red Bull, and now ploughing out to the corners, now heading down towards 130R. Exceptional under the Rolex banners now, down the stretch, coming around 130 right now, heading towards the chicane. Spectacular move from Jonas, a very brave move indeed around something such a spoon, because of course very treacherous indeed, but Jonas now will have a chance. He'll have the DRS once again, and naturally those mediums are going to start feeling a little bit tender on Rossi's tyres, or certainly those tyres on Rossi's car will certainly be feeling very tender indeed. Heading into turn 1, the Red Bull, Jonas trying to let fly, get as close as he can. He's currently 7.5 tenths of a second away from that man at this moment in time. I should say 9 tenths, sorry, 7.5 tenths was the gap between Rossi and Ronha, who is now scooting clear in P1. Is nearly stretching to over a second now, and he will soon break DRS at this rate, but nothing separates these drivers between 2, 3 and 4, heading up through sector 1, now into sector 2 proper, round in the Degners. That was an incredible move there, Miles, from Jonas. Insane. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, going around the outside in 200R. I mean, he just pushed his overtake button to the maximum, but it paid off. I mean, he just knew he had to get in front of Clone Troop there. Did that. Rossi lost the DRS to Ronha up front, which could be crucial, as I think Rossi will come into the pits at the end of this lap to fit a set of soft tires to go to the end. So Jonas will have a tough task. 1.8 seconds, around 1.9 to actually close on Ronha, and you want to be within that 1 second of your competitor. But we can't forget that Ronha has that 5-second penalty. So it will be a tough task for Ronha to actually break the gap of 5 seconds. I mean, there's always the possibility of someone, as now I think Rossi's coming into the pits. Same goes for Clone Troop, I'm pretty sure. Yes, he does. So, I mean, there's always the possibility for anyone to actually have a puncture in the end, or just getting a penalty by themselves. I mean, if they have 3 warnings, they will get a 3-second penalty. So it might only be 2 seconds Ronha has to bridge to Jonas, as Jonas also bridged the gap now to Days Rhombus. So, I mean, that's playing into the hands of Antoine beautifully.
Yeah, I mean, Antoine's absolutely flying right now. He's got a gap of 3.5 seconds on VRT Critch. The Red Bull has been absolutely incredible. He hasn't got anything to worry about behind him. His pace has been extraordinary. He doesn't have DRS to be concerned about. He's now trying to close and focus his attention on what's going on in P6 and above. I mean, obviously, Ronha currently leading this Grand Prix and already sprung clear of another 7 tenths of a second, so he's absolutely flying. Of course, Antoine, known in the PC world as Antoine Desalewski, and has been certainly right in the fire line. I've seen him race in PSGL, of course, in the PC Championship. He's extremely potent out on track and really starting to find his feet in the world of sim racing. He's always been a quick guy, signed to Comrade Gaming as well this year, and they saw a lot of ability in this young man. He looks absolutely outstanding, and certainly his season has certainly been a testament to that. 4 wins this season in 8 races, so half the races he's competed in he's won, and he could win tonight as long as he keeps this up. He's currently in P7. He's now broken another 3 tenths of a second into Joker's Delta time, so he's absolutely flying. Only 5 laps aboard on those medium tyres, of course, they come out the chicane. In behind Critch and Perondi, still very much in tandem, the two Williams drivers. Naturally, you can see them squaring off against each other. Perondi looking to have more pace. I'm wondering if Critch is actually starting to really utilise that ERS, and hence why he's falling behind. The energy levels on that car can't be great, as Perondi now looks to get closer to Critch. In behind, Viper as well has brought himself right back into this race in P10, and the AlphaTauri trying to make a real name for himself. He will, once again, if he can keep this up, finishing the points, so he will need to try and close. We've got just under 10 laps remaining in this race, 9 in total, and just look at Ronha, 2.2 seconds clear of Jonas. That's extraordinary.
Yeah, I was just going to point that out as well. I mean, he's just trying to storm away because he knows he has to bridge the gap. Like I said, he has that 5-second penalty, and if he can continue the pace he has right now, I'm pretty sure he could do it. To be quite honest, because Jonas doesn't have any DRS help to actually get within that 1 second of Ronha, or just stay with Ronha in any way. But you just pointed out Viper, who's looking very, very strong at the moment. He's just setting his eyes onto Perondi, and we know Perondi is struggling. We have seen Perondi struggling a bit. That's why they changed. Who's the leading Williams drivers? Here now comes Viper in 130R. I think he just lifted there ever so slightly. Now going into the hairpin, into the chicane, and there was a hit by Viper on Perondi's back, as Antoine now sets the fastest lap of the race, and they are still continuing the fight that has been going on. Viper and Perondi. That was very late move there by Viper. Fastest lap now by Rossi. There's no ERS involved now for Perondi, who just also lost that crucial DRS to his teammate, and now Viper has to set for another lap. Maybe it wasn't the best opportunity to actually pounce, but he decided to do so. Let's hope and let's pray that he doesn't have any damage.
Yeah, I think that's obviously been a case of hesitation heading down towards that chicane. It's so dangerous if you come into it too quick. You can, of course, overshoot it. It's easily done. We've seen it before, and Viper very nearly the victim there in that situation, and nearly taking Perondi with him as well. It got ever so close, but still the gap separated by 0.6 of a second, near enough 5.5 tenths. They lock up around the hairpin bend and cascade out, heading up towards 200R. Still 14 runners in this race. We've only lost one, and that being Luca, who we lost in the initial start of this race, heading around Sector 1. Which did bring about the safety car, of course, and now we are currently at this stage in the Grand Prix. Antoine has knocked off another 2 seconds off the delta against him and Joker right now, and Viper once again finding a lot of straight line speed. He certainly seems to favour a straight line setup here and is really starting to eat away at the delta between him and Perondi as they come down to the Casio Triangle chicane once again. Is he going to go for it? A calculated move into the Casio Triangle, not this time, but he will be a little bit more patient. He'll have DRS this time, heading around the final corner. Perondi with no DRS here at all on Critch. A sitting duck. He certainly strikes. The fangs around. The Viper sends it down the outside. Round turn 1. Beautiful Sterling AlphaTauri in P9. He's in the points. He's absolutely brilliant. 8 races, 8 points finishes currently on the table. Viper is on flying fashion form.
Yes, yeah, and now he can set his eyes on the second Williams, and I'm pretty sure he will have the pace advantage on Critch. But, I mean, Antoine completely checked out. So is Ronha, 3.1 seconds already. I mean, we're on lap 20, George. We have to remember, it will be a tough task for those hard tires to actually make it. And, I mean, I was just looking at Joker, and that was what my confusion was about during the safety car phase. Joker came into the pits twice. First time because they had a penalty. I think he even got 2 5-second penalties. So he fitted a set of soft tires to go 1 lap and then fit the hard tires to have a bit more fresh tires in the end to actually go towards the end. So he just had 2 penalties he had to serve during the safety car phase. Did that. So quite a smart move. Not gonna lie. That was a smart move by Joker, just having a bit more fresher tires than everyone else around him, and just, yeah, doing his 5-second stop-go penalty, or the 2 5-second stop-go penalties he had. So he might be doing a lot better than the guys on the hard tires in front of him.
Yeah, well, look at this now. Viper looking to take another chunk out of another Williams driver. Critch now at the mercy of this AlphaTauri. Viper absolutely rampant here in lap 21 of 27. And he's getting closer and closer in behind that Sophia-sponsored rear wing of the Williams driver VRT Critch, who's now heading around this next sector. Jonas with a 3-second time penalty, and that could make all the difference at the end of this race. Jonas not finding any benefit here at this latter stage of this Grand Prix. The Japanese certainly is lighting up here. Critch running wide now, and the door opens this time for Viper. Can he strike again? Heading into the hairpin bend. Is he going to leave it a late break? No, he's going to hold on, take the wider line. Out of the corner, the switchback was on. They head round 200R, and still in front of him, VRT Critch. But there's going to be a chance coming out, certainly of Spoon Curve. If he wants to do it round 130R, the door will be open for him, you'd think, as they head round now, this next left-hander, and circumventing the Spoon Curve, heading down the stretch now, and he will apply the power. He's certainly not going to be using any overtake this time. He's going to save it as they make their way around 130R now. Still Critch holding onto that P8. Viper is going to save it this time. He's going to wait until the DRS becomes active on the home straight. Very sensible move here. The AlphaTauri coming through the chicane now, wheel to nose, or wheel to wheel, nose to tail. That's what you want to see now. As you can see there, the crowd's lit up here in this grandiose circuit here in Suzuka. Critch still holding on. He got a little bit of a better exit heading out to that final bend, and Viper just being patient, sticking behind Critch for the time being.
I think he also knows that, I mean, if he's overtaking Critch, there's nothing he can do about Antoine. I mean, Antoine also completely checked out. 6.2 seconds is the gap to Critch, and I mean, Critch just has to look into his rear mirrors and just look at what Viper is doing. I mean, like you said, like you pointed out, Viper with not the best of exits coming out of the final corners. Now Perondi also gets a crucial penalty, and there's Rossi coming from behind on fresh soft tires. So that might also come into play. We're on lap 22. I would love to see how the tires are looking percentage-wise for all of the guys that are inside the top 6. Antoine now 1.4 seconds behind Joker, who also lost the DRS to VRT Danny, who's also doing a very good job there, we have to point out. Dace Rhombus is closing in on Jonas. Jonas seems to be struggling a lot. Maybe he's just looking after his tires, because like I said, there is puncture territory come the end of the race. Maybe some guys will hit that on lap 26, maybe some guys will hit that at lap 27, and maybe some guys can go towards the end, but we are now heading into the Casio Triangle, and will Viper have a better exit this time? He surely does, and he's doing what he wants to do, and he's pressing the overtake button, and Critch has nothing to answer. Going defensive. Is Viper going to the front? I don't have a very good camera view, unfortunately, but Viper's coming out on top. Critch has to settle for P9, and a very, very strong move there by the AlphaTauri driver.
Yeah, he's been absolutely brilliant. It was a great send around the outside. He had the line, and he really did have it all sussed there. The AlphaTauri now up into P8, goes ahead of the two Williams drivers, Critch and Perondi, who did get a time penalty on that previous lap. And obviously the fact that Jonas managed to get a time penalty as well has really handed the ball back into the hands of Ronhar, who's currently scooting away with this at this moment in time. 4.5 seconds, the difference between him and Jonas right now. Extraordinary. As now Antoine is right on the tail here of Joker. He's getting closer as they round 200R and making their way up towards Spoon Curve. The Red Bull sings again and makes his way up into P6. Two Red Bulls now up in the top 6 and coming out to the straight now onto the 130R. We have got just over 4 laps remaining here, folks, or should I say just about 3 laps remaining in this Japanese Grand Prix. And Antoine now on newer medium tyres is starting to find a lot of speed now. 2.5 seconds the delta to VRT Danny. Maybe he can get close enough and maybe to scratch a podium. It's going to be a huge ask, but he's managed to claw the deficit back and overtaken Joker. There's points in the offing here. He won't win the title as things stand here today, but at the same time, points mean everything. Points mean prizes, and at this moment in time, it could all be raised to question. But remember, all those cars ahead, though, and I want to raise this point. We are coming down to the final few laps. What are those hard tyres going to be like at the moment, Miles?
I was just going to have a look at some of the drivers' POV, because I saw in chat that Ronhard just got the tire warning. So it will be very tough for them to actually make it towards the end. I think Ronhard is just trying to build the gap just so if he has a front tire puncture, he can limp home. I mean, just like Lewis Hamilton did in the Silverstone Grand Prix last season, where he just was just limping home on 3 tires essentially. So I think that's why Ronha is building the gap. I think Jonas would do good himself, just trying to bridge the gap to Dace Rhombus to 3 seconds if he's able to. But for the moment, I don't think he is actually able to. Antoine is just pushing his DRS button to the maximum, just trying to get within reach of VRT Danny, who just lost the DRS to Bartek Fras himself, and Bartek Fras now within 1 second of Dace Rhombus. So Antoine really has to hope that VRT Danny isn't within that 1 second of Bartek Fras when he arrives, just because it will be much tougher to actually, as there was a move by Flying Rossi on Pironi. They're still going side by side down the pit straight there, George, as I think now Rossi might have the advantage. Yes, he does. I don't know what happened to Clone Troop there, if there was a mistake or what happened there, but he's coming into the pits very slowly, probably going to retire. But we have to focus. We're on lap 25 out of 27, and puncture territory is reached.
Yeah, it certainly is. Antoine is within a second of VRT Danny. This is going to be exceptionally close, folks. Do not peel away from your television sets. This is going to be a bumpy ride, certainly to say the least. And the Hearts are getting closer and closer to that point in the race where they're going to start feeling a little worse for wear. And naturally now, Antoine in a very advantageous position, certainly with only a few laps left, a couple of laps left, should I say, making his way around 200R. And he has VRT Danny dead ahead of him. Bartek Fras, who's now trying to close on Dace Rhombus, has brought it in by 0.4 of a second. Extraordinary stuff here as now we watch Antoine with the grip levels. Sector 1, we got a yellow flag as well. We're not sure quite what that is, as Clone Troop has DNF'd, of course. We did see that on the previous lap. That was your yellow flag in Sector 3, but here comes Antoine now. He will have the pace coming out of the chicane, heading around the final corner, and VRT Danny now at the mercy of the Red Bull that's getting closer and closer, looming up behind him, that familiar navy yellow and red livery that has struck many a car on this grid, as Antoine now makes his way down the stretch, looking to once again land another blow here at Suzuka, and he's done it now on the inside there. Absolutely extraordinary. Brilliant again. Another great drive from the Frenchman. Another great overtake. He's got more to do though. We've got 2 laps left to go. Can Antoine land a podium here tonight?
Surely can if there's a tire puncture, but now he has 1.3 seconds to Bartek Fras, and I think there's a puncture. Yes, there's a puncture for Dace Rhombus on the front left. There's a puncture for the Mercedes drivers, so everyone should be warned right now that, I mean, they can't be far away, the top guys at the front, to actually also get a puncture. I was just looking at Ronha because he dropped a bit to Jonas, but he built up the gap once again. Oh, there was a bit of lag involved there for Ronha. For a split second, I thought he might have also had a tire blow there. As now, yeah, not the best race for Dace Rhombus, unfortunately. Tire blow on lap 26, but we still have 1 lap to go, George. And there could be a tire blow for everyone that is now on the hard tires.
Yeah, it could all happen on the final lap. We've seen it before this season, folks. Remember PS4? We saw it in the championship when we went to France. A tyre blowout on the final lap did cost a race win, and it was heading around the final corner, ironically, which was absolutely horrendous, but at the same time dramatic, as now once again Antoine looking to land a podium blow. And remember, he is not yet got a penalty, so don't forget, Ronha and Jonas both have penalties. We'll have to wait and see how this is going to affect the end of this Grand Prix, as Bartek Fras heading around the first corner. Just look at the difference in the braking zones in between Antoine and Bartek Fras. They come out through the first section. Now as they round the snake section through towards what will be the left-hander, coming up through the heading up before the Degners round Dunlop curve, and there you can see the Red Bull swarming all over the Renault driver of Bartek Fras, who's now at the mercy of Antoine, the Frenchman, again looking absolutely sterling around this circuit of Japan. Down round the second Degner now before they march up towards the hairpin bend, and as they do so, nothing separates them. Is Antoine going to go for it here? A late move potentially around this hairpin bend as they come round now Surely it's going to be really tight now. Ronha still on top. Jonas in P2. Red Bull being well represented here in this last lap of this Grand Prix. Bartek Fras in P3. A late move potentially around Spoon. Antoine's going to be patient. He's going to wait till the straight. He'll have his chance. Round the second part of the Spoon curve. Heading down the stretch. Brushing the curb. Here comes the Red Bull. He's going to open up the rear wing now. Potentially open himself up for an overtake. As they do so, it's going to be Antoine surely to make a move before the Casio Triangle chicane. Wheel to wheel for a podium. Here he comes now. Down the outside. Wheel to wheel still. Medium tyres meet hards. On the outset. 5-second penalty goes to Ronha as they come across the line. Antoine does take P3. Moves up to P2 with Bartek Fras in P3. Ronha is your winner, folks. He's won the Japanese Grand Prix in dramatic fashion, to say the least. He nursed the hard tyres home. Antoine with an absolutely superb drive to take P2. And Bartek Fras, another great drive, takes P3 here at the Japanese Grand Prix. Amazing stuff, Miles.
Yeah, 29,000 for the podium there for Bartek Fras. So Jonas won't be happy with the time penalty, because if he hadn't gotten that, yeah, he would have won this race. So quite unfortunate, not even getting a podium. I don't know about the championship though. I think with Ronha getting 25, I think we will have to wait to actually crown a champion this season. And yeah, Antoine, phenomenal job going. Yeah, essentially, I think he was in P7 at the time, or no, he was in P9 at the time he came out of the pits. Had to overtake so many cars. I mean, he took benefit from the penalty Jonas had, and also nearly took advantage of the penalty Ronha had, because those were 5 seconds. But still a great job. Great drive there by Antoine, but also Bartek Fras, great drive. Ronha managing those tires. I mean, everyone who managed those tires until the end, just hats off for that, because that was brilliant.
Yeah, it was an absolutely brilliant race indeed. Lots of drama, but Ronha is your winner for Ferrari. Started on pole, finished at the top. And he goes home with 25 points as well. Antoine in P2. He managed to get a podium. Those points will certainly go towards his championship fight. And though he won't win it this time, it certainly does put him in a good position to hopefully win it next week. You never know. Bartek Fras in P3 for Renault. Jonas in P4 as well. Red Bull scooping up yet again some great points as well. Danny in P5. Viper, what a great drive. P9 up into P6. Great drive from Danny as well. P12 to P5. Critch in P7. All the way from P6 as well. Flying Rossi finishes P8 with Perondi P9. Joker in P10. Bobbitt's P11. Alfie in P12 with Days Rhombus P13. Clone Troop was a DNF, and so was Luca. They made up the tail of the field. But folks, what a sensational race indeed. Big thank you to all the viewers as well. We're going to have hopefully some interviews as well, so we can speak to the winners of that race. It was absolutely sensational. I hope you all enjoyed it at home. I want to hear who your driver of the day was. Naturally, you could have picked from quite a few through that race. Naturally, it was a huge strategy contest through that one. And we will wait to see what these drivers have to say about that race. Certainly, we'll have a look now. Carl, great commentary. Thanks, guys. OK Free, what a race. Thank you, guys, for the commentary. Jack Vaughan, I called it. Well, I got to say, maybe you did. I think a few were quite interested about that. Diorte Carico, what did I say? Ronha. And thanks for the great commentary. Love to watch. Great to have you on board, guys. It's a pleasure to bring you the action week in, week out. And Carl, what a race. It certainly was, my friend. Certainly was. Ronha now is going to join us for an interview. Your fan favourite here today. And here he is. He must be delighted. Ronha, an exceptional race. And I have to say, a strategy masterclass. Well done. Pitting on the hards ahead of the safety car. It was a genius move.
Yeah, I knew last time in SSC I did the exact same thing, but I pitted at lap 2 for the hards. And I got a puncture at the end of lap 27, the last lap. So I knew it was going to be risky. I had like 85% tire at the end, so got a bit lucky this time. So yeah, I'm quite happy with it.
Yeah, it was a superb drive, and naturally that's your second win this season. You must be absolutely thrilled with that, because it's been sort of a slow burner for you this season. You sort of started a little bit too steady, but eventually found your way into some decent point-scoring form. You've scored 2 third-place podium finishes now, and now in the past 3 weeks you've had 2 race wins. You must be thrilled.
Yeah, technically 2 wins in a row for me, because last year I didn't intend. So yeah, I'm really happy with my performances, and I'll try and carry the streak on for the next couple of races as well.
Yeah, and the feeling, obviously, heading into Austria, very different circuit, a lot smaller, a lot shorter, should I say. But I have to say, nevertheless, it's a very technical track in the midst that you've got plenty of almost hairpinny type bends as well, certainly heading on the outset of Sector 2. What are your thoughts heading into the latter stages of the calendar? Do you think there's some big points on the table for you guys to win?
Well, I'll have a look at what my pace is like. And if my pace is good, then I'll do my best, of course.
Well, I've got to say, it certainly was great pace that you showed here today, and you could be absolutely thrilled with that. Naturally, it keeps the championship battle going, which is what we like to see. But great drive, though, Ron Ha. Superbly done, well executed, and I'm sure we'll see you back in the top points finishes again.
Thank you.
Well done. Thank you. Antoine, he's back, and I have to say, he must be feeling a little bit sweaty after that one. What a climb from where he was on those medium tyres. Antoine, you must have really been sweating there. It got real tough towards the end, didn't it?
Sweaty, not as much as last week, to be honest, because I took a break for 3 days after pro exhibition, so we practiced only 1 hour before the race with Jonas. So it was a nice break, to be honest. It was a little bit tough to replay the game a little bit before race, but I got a bit of traffic in my second and last run, which cost me at least 2 tenths in sector 2 for my second and last run, so it was quite unfortunate for me. But Ronha did a great lap, and then it was poor for him, so GG to him. And coming into the race, I had a feeling like Monza that it's gonna happen again, a safety car lap 1 or something. So, I have something to lose, but Ronha had nothing to lose, so I understand why he has pitted lap 1. So I think that Ronha had like 85% tire at the end. So at this moment, when you pit lap 1 to go to the end, you need to be a bit lucky, a bit conservative with the tires. So GG to him. I had pretty much all to lose because so does as Viper. He didn't pit it, so I understand him as well. But Ronha was quite far in the championship, so it was pretty much all in for him. So I only lost 7 points to him. So the battle is gonna be until Austria at least, or maybe Abu Dhabi. So it's good for the championship, and with the recovery, I'm really happy with. I knew that I had the pace to come back on the podium, and as I knew that Jonas had a penalty, I knew that I'm gonna be P2, but it was close at the end. I think Ronha backed off for the 2 last lap to keep the tires alive, and then it was only 1.5 at the end with his 5 seconds, but I'm really happy with the results.
Yeah, it was a tremendous race, and naturally the strategies were thrown into question. It looked like the drivers on the hard tyres were going to really struggle. We had a 1 puncture, of course, Days Rhombus suffering there. Did that give you a little bit more encouragement heading in those final laps that you'd be able to strike a podium, obviously with the hard tyres wearing off the way they did?
Because Jonas had a penalty, as I said, and Bartek was low on the arrest, so does me. So I knew the P2 is gonna be on the last braking zone on the last chicane. So I tried to move around the outside, and it's been well for me. So it was a tricky corner for Bartek on the outside of the last corner. So it was more confident, as you said, because if Days Rhombus didn't have a puncture, I think it was supposed to be P3 for me, because I could have not catch Bartek on the last lap. So unfortunately he got a puncture. So, but it's pleased to me to get P2. So that's less point loss, and it's gonna be until Austria at least. So it's good.
Yeah, well, you're on 150 points now after that P2 finish heading into Austria. Thoughts on the title battle heading into Austria? You're feeling confident? What do you rate Austria as a circuit for you? Is it one that you feel confident in? Do you think you're going to score big points?
Yeah, I'm quite confident around this track. Unfortunately, it's going to be not as today, but it's going to be maybe a DRS train as always. But I know that Ronha is pretty quick on qualifying and in the race as well. So it's going to be a tough battle until the end. even though there is still three races remaining. So I hope he's gonna be here next week. I hope he will, because it was quite unfortunate for him to have exam last week. But I completely understand why he wasn't there. So exam goes first, and league racing it's after. So yeah, I'm happy for him that he's back this week, and yeah, again, GG for his win tonight.
Yeah, brilliant. Obviously, education comes first. Very sensible indeed. But obviously now we're going to be moving. I'm sure you've seen the news as well. WOR bringing up a PC league now as of the new game, F1 2021. Now, Antoine, I know yourself that because I've commentated on you in PSGL for the PC Championship. Will we be seeing you don the name Antoine Dezelewski in the PC Championship?
Yeah, I hope so. I was waiting for that announcement. I knew that the announcement, Luke told me earlier, so I was quite happy that WOR is moving on PC. So that's a great thing, because the league is really great. You know, the organizer, the commentators, you are doing a great job. So I'm quite pleased that you are moving to PC, and I'm moving to PC as well. So I hope I will be picked to be in tier 1 next game. But yeah, I hope I'm gonna race.
Well, I'm sure without question, and we'll see you there, Antoine, without a shadow of a doubt. Keep on with the performances like that, my friend, and I'm sure you'll be there. But no, tremendous. We'll obviously look forward to Austria, but in the meantime, take care of yourself. A great P2 today, and the title, I'm sure we'll be seeing whether it'll be decided or not next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, Miles, absolutely brilliant. Obviously now the title still not currently settled. Still some time to go. We've got a few races left. Austria, Abu Dhabi and Brazil. The title, though, looks like it could well be decided at Spielberg next week. And after a race like that, it just heightens the tension, doesn't it? I got to say, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to get really tasty now.
Will be, yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, from a commentator's point of view, I mean, in all respect to Antoine, I would like him to DNF maybe. In all respect, just to keep the championship alive, because I like to have the championship going until the final race, at best until the final corner. I mean, you were talking about is that Glock moment. So I wouldn't mind to have that, but I mean there must be so many things coming together for that to happen. So I mean, Antoine is looking very likely. And I also wouldn't mind to crown a new WR champion next week.
Yeah, it's going to be very thrilling. And of course, if you want to see the standings, or if you want to stay up to date with all of what's going on in terms of WOR and the current results in the league, you can, of course, go onto the Twitter page. They will, of course, update them. Obviously, the current results will be digested with the stewards team. They will just check and interrogate just to make sure that there are no outliers. And then some official results will be announced. Obviously, the standings currently, or the results are currently provisional. Naturally, though, at the same time, you know, we'll see them in the coming days, of course. And if you want to stay up to date, like I said, get on the Twitter feed. That is at WOR League. And you can also, from there, get onto the Discord as well. There is a Discord for WOR. Come and join and make sure you stay up to date with all the championship standings. Still currently on top is Antoine. And after that win, scooping up that P2, getting 18 points. That will be added to his tally to make 150 from the 132 that he had prior. So naturally increasing that points gap yet again. But Ronha, after scoring 25 points in his second win this season, will move his way up the table slightly, overtaking Keaton Lutt, and of course getting closer and closer to Viper, who is actually in P2. In fact, he could well overtake Viper in that as well. So extraordinary scenes here towards the end of this season. But folks, if you want to check me out, of course, you can go on Twitter at George Morgan TV. You can come and tweet me, message me, anything you like, of course. Miles, tell them what your Twitter handle is.
My Twitter handle is at TSR Miles. Just one word.
There you are. You can check out Miles as well, the co-commentator extraordinaire. He is there as well at TSR Miles. So do not hesitate to get in touch with us. We will like to hear from you. But folks, what a pleasure it's been. Please leave a like and a subscribe as well. Today, Ronha took victory. The title is still on the table. We'll see if Antoine can do it at Spielberg. We'll see you next week, folks.